Hello everyone and welcome back to Mr. M's PTA. I am Mr. M and this is my parent-teacher advice channel. Over the past couple of weeks I've been talking with Miss Emily Andrews, a fantastic reception teacher and SENCO at her local school, and we're now in the final furlong. This is the final 3 questions that I had to ask her. And again, if you have any other questions that you would like answered, she's so keen to come back on. If you're not a reception parent, stay tuned because I have GCSE advice coming up. More about that after we've finished with Emily. I'm going to stop talking because I talk far too much, and let's get into the final few questions of my interview with the fantastic Miss Andrew. So here's an example for you. At home, my little boy, my wife and I are encouraging him, if he gets angry with something or overwhelmed, he can have a bit of a growl and then take himself up to his bedroom to calm down. Now, that's great, and it's teaching him self-management of his emotions, self-regulation, I guess. But in class, he can't do that. So what options are open to him?
Early years classrooms are set up with such care for the children coming into them and such consideration with all areas of the curriculum that I'm fairly certain there will always be a little space that is a little bit like of a calm corner, a reading corner, a quiet space that children are able to access if they're finding things overwhelming. I think what's really important is about children knowing that they can go to that space and being able to access that independently. So what that may look like in your child's school is it may look like they are, again, under that total communication approach, they are verbally being told about this space that they're able to access, but at a time when no one's necessarily showing that they need it. So it's not a time when, someone's crying in the corner saying, oh, you all can use the calm corner. You're frequently modelling that you have this space. It could be that you model, and I know that part of my PSHE curriculum, that adults do model these emotions to the children in order to create discussion. So it might be that you're modelling something that's made you feel a little bit frustrated, a bit angry or a bit upset, and you're going to go to the calm corner, you're going to go to that quiet space and you're going to take a breath. And then you're kind of equipping those children, like you're giving them something to kind of hold on to when they walk across that space. They walk up to that space, they might think, oh, I remember that time that Miss Andrews said she was feeling annoyed. If I'm feeling annoyed, I can use that space. But also I'm using visuals. I'm in my low stimulation areas, so I have a calm corner in my classroom. I have a visual there that tells you it's the calm corner. I have aided language displays that are there for children to be able to say, I feel this way, and then on the reverse it has different approaches that they can take to helping to regulate themselves. But most importantly, after I'm modelling it, I'm allowing children to use it. I'm trusting them with using those spaces, and I might offer suggestions for children if they are playing in that space, or if they're making it a little bit overwhelming, or if they're bringing toys to that space. I might say, this looks really fun, let's take it to the area, let's take it to another area because this space is for our calm, quiet time. So I'm trying to keep that as calm and as neutral as possible.
I know what I wanted to ask you. Communication. Is it all entirely app-based now? My son's nursery has an app, and we don't get many personalised messages. Lots of things about head lice and who's taken the wrong buggy home, but nothing really about his personal learning journey. How am I expected to communicate with the school?
I am finding lots of different ways to communicate with parents. So face-to-face, at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, even if it's just a little nugget like, oh, so-and-so sat on the carpet and really listened well today, I'm really proud of them. I'm allowing that child to hear that praise and their parents' reaction to it. I'm showing that I care. I'm showing that I care for that child. So face-to-face is a lot of conversation. I know that a lot of settings use apps like Tapestry to communicate children's development, or they may have their own kind of version of that. The school I work at currently doesn't use Tapestry, and I would perhaps argue that when there is loads of information on apps like that, and you can see that the adults have written great long lists and scripts of what's happening, it would perhaps make me think, okay, so when they were in the moment with my child, was their focus really on the learning, or was their focus on making sure that they're recording it, videoing it, or putting that language into tapestry? So at my setting, we do not use that. We have learning journeys where we record their work, but there is no one size fits all way that we have to kind of record learning. So it's really dependent on the setting. We also use, as a school, Marvelous Me. So I'm writing, and it's a part of the end of my day in my class. So at the end of the day, we come together for a story, and then I might share something. So I say, I'm going to send a message to all of your grown-ups about something that we did, or we read this story, or we learnt about this, or ask me about this. So it encourages that conversation after school, that that dreaded moment where you ask your child, what did you learn at school today? And they say, I don't know, or I had fish fingers for lunch. Having something that communicated from the school, just we talked about capacity today, or we talked about things that are heavier, things that are lighter, just to kind of consolidate that key vocabulary. It can be a really nice way to kind of start those conversations. So face-to-face, Marvelous Me are my two main kind of communications. I'm also calling if I'm aware that parents are using wraparound care frequently. I will be calling parents, or sometimes, and again, this very much depends on the teacher's routine, but I might try and catch a parent when they're picking up from wraparound care club, just to check in. And I think my main focus for communicating with parents is making sure that the balance is more positive to kind of negative communication. I'm obviously communicating if there are struggles or if there's something they're finding difficult, but I'm doing that in a sensitive way. So I'm calling separate. I'm never calling separately. I'm never communicating those messages when I've got a queue of parents behind. I'm not doing my kind of behaviour management in front of the parent whilst the child is stood in front of me. I'd never want a child to feel that. So I'm being very sensitive about how I'm sharing messages, and I'm making sure that when I'm communicating with parents, I'm keeping that really positive.
Oh, that's really nice. That's great. So finally, last question. I made a few videos about how parents can help at home. There's a reception readiness pack if you want it. It's still available. Download it here. So as much as I know EYFS theoretically, and my 1 week of reception experience, it's probably not, I can talk the talk, but you have actual recent lived experience. So what should we do as parents to help our children?
I think absolutely talk to your child's class teacher. Some schools will do parents' evening very early on, or if there's just, even if you catch them on the gate and you have any ideas, or if you want to call the office, I'm always really welcome to parents asking what they can do at home as well. We follow Little Wandle Phonics, and there are quite a lot of resources for parents to follow, but we also have made little information packs that help kind of make sure that the vocabulary that parents are using is consistent to the vocabulary that we use during our phonics sessions in school. I think sometimes routine language can be very similar. I know from experience that children will want to go home and use the same language in their play. I've heard in the past where I've had to say, Miss Andrews is sad, and children have gone to their parents, I feel sad at something that's happened because maybe they didn't want their dinner, or they didn't want what they had for dinner. So they do pick up on a lot of language, and I think lots of the time parents kind of then adapt to using that. There's so much information out there. I always really highly recommend the CBeebies parenting advice. That's a really, really popular one, and it's very similar to how the schools, I think it was made very closely with lots of teachers who consulted on that. So I think use all of the resources that are out there, but use that best resource is your teacher. That's how you're gonna find out the best information is. Okay, is there a way that you would tackle this? Ask their advice. That's what they're here for. They're here to make sure your child is learning. And if you have any questions, they're always always really approachable. Sometimes they might look a little bit frazzled, but always here to help.
And that was the lovely Miss Emily Andrews, always generous with her time and her advice. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Emily. I'm going to be putting the other 2 videos that make up this trilogy of interviews into a playlist. I will put that up here. If it's not up here, check the description, it will be there. And that, you watch the whole thing. I'm now going to go and finish off the research for my GCSE results video, so if you have a child at the other end of the education spectrum that's just finished their GCSEs and you're eagerly awaiting results day, make sure you check back next week because I'll have information all about what to do with the results, the good, the bad, the ugly, the unexpected. It'll all be there, so be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Other than that, if there's anything you'd like me to look into, I have the time. Maybe you don't. Just leave a comment. And I will see you next week. Remember, you can do this. You're awesome.